Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the I followed dash tutorial, and I will probably be the last person on the YouTube planet who's going to do this trend and do this video. But I definitely wanted to get this up on my channel because I've never done any challenge or trend video on my channel, and this was kind of interesting, and this time it intrigued me, and I just spoke to myself that let's just do it. And the person I'm going to be following, as you probably know by the title, is Kaushal Beauty. And I follow Kaushal Beauty almost for over 2 years now, and she in fact inspired me to start my own channel. So I'm gonna be following one of her tutorial, and when I looked into her profile, I have noticed that most of her makeup tutorials are almost like 6 months old or even more than 6 months old. So I have picked up one of the tutorial that she has done at the age of 6 months, and that is Friday Glam Night Get Ready With Me. And she has got almost 400,000 views onto that video. So I'm going to be following step by step what she has done into the video. Although I would say that most of the products that she has used I may not be having, so I'm going to be substituting with whatever I have. So yeah, and if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. Please do subscribe and join the family. And now let's quickly move on to the video. And also, if you can notice that I have the bunny hairband up on my head, and in that video she wore kind of a turtleneck full sleeve top. But right now it is so hot in Mumbai that I cannot really wear any sort of full sleeve or turtleneck top. So I tried to be as close to her, although the color is not as like her is more like deep maroon sort of color. She has full sleeve, I don't have full sleeve, but the neck is kind of similar. She has a little more above than this length, but we cannot pretend that this is as similar to her. And if you have watched my previous video, I'm gonna be filming into this room and into this background for a few videos now, because the place that I usually film is kind of under construction. So until the AC arrives into that room, I'm gonna be filming in this room right here. So let's just stop rambling and let's get into the video. So I'm just gonna screen record my phone, and I'm just gonna have whatever she is doing on any corner of my screen, so that you guys can also see that what she is doing and what I am doing. Although, as I mentioned, that I'm gonna be substituting with whatever I have as product wise. So yeah.
Hi my angels, and welcome back to my channel. My angels is back. I feel like so many guys missed it in the comments that I'm bringing it back for you guys. Today's video is going to be a tutorial. It's going to be a chatty tutorial, and it's actually going to be from this look that I wore out last Friday. I wore this out to a friend's birthday, and yeah, I asked on Instagram if you guys wanted to see a tutorial on this look, and pretty much everyone said yes. So that is what I'm doing for you guys right now. As two things that I'm loving at the moment are these Farsali oils. I've seen them all over Instagram, and I love Farah Dukai, and I was so excited to get these. They're actually stocked on Cult Beauty now, and I actually really love these. So I'm taking the Rose Gold Elixir first, and I'm using this as a moisturizer for my face, and this smells like oranges. It's really nice.
Also, I will try and pick up whichever product I'm using instead of the product that she is using. So for the moisturizer, she has used the Farsali Gold Elixir facial oil, but the one I really like is from the Body Shop. This is the Vitamin E Ceramide oil, and now she is using the Farsali Unicorn Essence as her primer. So I'm going to be using the PAC Cosmetics Studio Finish Oil Primer, because she has used oil primer as well.
It's been a couple of minutes since I've let the other oil sit on my face, so I'm going to just put this all over.
So she is using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, as well as the All Nighter Foundation from Urban Decay. I don't have any of this foundation, so I'm gonna be mixing these two foundations right here. This one is the LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation. This gives the really dewy finish like Giorgio Armani would do, but Giorgio Armani does not have as much of the coverage, but it definitely has medium to full coverage. So I'm just going to pretend this is the Giorgio Armani foundation, and I have the PAC Aged Liquid foundation. And since this foundation is really long wearing, I'm just going to pretend this is the All Nighter foundation.
So I'm just putting one pump of the All Nighter and then two pumps of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, and I'm going to be bouncing that all into my face with my damp beauty blender, which is by far my favorite. I am just going to add a little bit more coverage to the areas where I feel like I like having that little bit extra, which is generally around my mouth and my nose. Before I forget, I am going to put some lip balm on so that my lips are nice and prepped. But first I'm going to use all my cream products, and I'm going to contour using my Becca Low Light Sculpting Powder.
I'm going to be using the Pack Take Cover Concealer Crayon, and this one is in the shade D33, and I'm just going to softly contour whatever area she's doing.
It's a very cool toned contour, which is what I love when it comes to contouring.
Alright, I'm going to be using this concealer right here, and this is the Fit Me Concealer, and this one is in the shade 30 Cafe, and I am hoping that this one is a little bit cool toned than the previous one, and this seems a little bit cool toned, and she is doing really a light contouring, and that's exactly I'm gonna do.
And then for highlighting and concealing, I used a mixture of two concealers. The first one is my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Custard.
Alright, now she is moving on to the concealer, and she is using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but instead of that I'm going to be using the NYX HD Concealer first, and then she used the Maybelline Edge Rewind Concealer.
Technique, and then I am also going to bring it quite far up the nose as well. A little bit on my chin and a little bit on my forehead, and also
so then she is using her trusty Age Rewind Concealer, and I'm just going to do that as well.
And I know it looks really crazy right now, but we are going to sort that out by blending it all away with my damp beauty blender, and I'm using the pointy side for this. And I feel like the combination of these two concealers work really well together. My under eyes did not crease one bit.
Oh my god, in my mind I'm literally like I'm gonna ruin this entire look and I'm gonna upset Kaushal, but I am really praying that I don't upset her.
To set my under eyes, I'm using the Tarte Filtered Light.
So she is directly moving on to the setting her face. So I'm just gonna quickly blend it all in. And what I've noticed that she did not really put any concealer on the bridge of her nose. Alright, she is using powder now. So I'm using the Pack HD powder, and this one is in the shade Banana. I'm just gonna use it under the eyes as she is using.
To set all of the contour areas, I'm taking my Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer.
Alright, she is using a really cool tone contouring powder for her face. So I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution eyeshadow, and this one is in the shade Delicious, which is a really cool toned eyeshadow. And I'm just going to pretend this is a contour powder, and I'm going to use it to set the contour on my face.
To deepen that really slightly, I'm taking Hoola by Benefit, and I am just gonna take some of that and just put it onto the cheek areas. And this is just to add a little bit more warmth into the skin, because the other bronzer is quite a cool toned bronzer. And then one thing I do like to do is I take my round end and I'm just blending all of that in together. I'm going to take my NYX Sweet Cheeks palette, and I'm going to take a mixture of these two shades right here, this peachy tone and this more mauvey tone.
Alright, she's using the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette for her blush, but I don't have that blush either, because that blush is always out of stock. Even in the stores in Orbit Mallard is also out of stock. For the blush, she is taking something corally and something like this, mixing together. I'm going to be mixing this color right here. This is from Pack Cosmetics. It's their powder blusher. It is in number 05, and I'll be using this one right here. This is the Mina blusher in 103. So I'm going to be mixing this two together, pretending it's same as Kaushal's.
And for highlight, I am taking my Laura Geller Gilded Honey.
For the highlighter, she is first using a really skin tone sort of color. So I'm going to be using this one right here. This is from the Pack Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna pop this on.
I'm gonna lie, I feel like I did add a little bit of a Blissful highlight from Ofra. I'm just taking the tiniest amount.
And then she is using another of the lighter highlighter on top of it. So I will be using the Makeup Revolution Pro Illuminate highlighter, and this is quite a light than this highlighter right here. So I'm just gonna put this on top of this highlighter, and she is using the same brush again. I actually forgot how beautiful this highlighter is.
And again, as always, I'm taking my beauty blender and just making sure that's nicely meshed. For nose contour, I'm taking my Hoola bronzer and I'm taking my Luxie 162 brush.
She's using some angled brush, so I'm gonna be using this brush right here. This brush right here, which is kind of similar to the one she is using, which is the Luxie JD Weddy 180 brush.
So what I do with this is I get some product onto my brush and then I basically just start drawing a line down the side of my nose. And I like to somewhat join it up to my eyebrow. And then a little bit on the tip of my nose.
Now she is using the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I'm just gonna take any of the powder that I already have, and I'm just gonna do.
And then what I have been doing is I've been taking my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder, and I take the other end of the brush, which is kind of like a slanted angled brush. What I do is I coat both sides of the brush, and then I basically start cleaning those lines up. So this makes the contour a little bit more sharper, but we are going to blend everything away. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit whilst I prime my eyes. So I'm going to take my...
And she's using an eyeshadow pencil to prime the lids. I don't have an eyeshadow pencil, like a nude eyeshadow pencil to prime the lids. So I'm going to be using the MAC Take Cover Concealer again, and I'm just going to use this to prime the lids.
This is in the shade Secret Boudoir. This is like a waterproof eyeshadow pencil, and I'm actually going to take my Sephora eyeshadow pencil, and this is in the shade Secret Boudoir. This is like a waterproof eyeshadow pencil, and it is the same color pretty much as my skin tone, or like the closest to my skin tone. So now that I've drawn some lines on this one eye, I'm just going to blend it out before I move to the next.
And the MAC Take Cover Concealer is in the shade L12.
And taking that same Charlotte Tilbury powder, I'm just going to set my eyelids so that this is just going to help all of the eyeshadow blend in really nicely together. And then I'm also going to brush the nose contour away. Quickly go over it with my damp beauty blender. I am going to slightly neaten up my brows using the Anastasia.
Now she is doing her eyebrows. I was just waiting for it. She has her eyebrows tattooed, so that's why she does not need as much of the filling in the brows, but I definitely need a lot of the filling in. So I'm just going to quickly do my eyebrows off camera, and I'll be right back to do the rest of the makeup.
And because my brows are microbladed, I basically just need to sort the outline out, make sure it's nice and not taken away by the foundation, but it's really easy to just sort them out. Like, that's done.
Alright, I'm back, and to fill in the brows I have used the Sugar Arch Arrival brows. Yeah, Arch Arrival brow definer, and in the shade Jerry Brown. And now she is setting her brows. So
I totally forgot to add highlight on my nose, so I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm taking my Laura Geller Gilded Honey, and I'm taking that same angled brush from that Luxie contour brush, and I'm basically drawing a line down my nose like so, very slightly, and then also a dot on the end. I thought something was missing there. So moving on to the eyes, it looks like a really complicated eyeshadow look, but it's really not. So what I did use was I used the Urban Decay Heat Palette.
But I'm just gonna use whichever closest shade that I have from the Urban Decay palette. So first here she's using the Low Glow, which is slightly yellowish brown sort of color. I'm going to be using this color right here, which is pack in number 33. This is a little warmer than the shade Low Glow, but we're gonna make this work.
I wanted the crease shade to be really warm, so I am going to go in the shade with Cayenne next, and then afterwards build that up a little bit more using the shade Enfuego.
And she is using the shade Cayenne and Enfuego. And when I looked into online, the shade Cayenne is is a little bit warmer, a little bit brownish. She also mixed the shade Enfuego, which is more reddish sort of brown color. So I'm just gonna find a similar shade from whatever I have. So the closest color for the shade Cayenne I found in this palette right here, and this is the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette in the shade Rose in the Air. So this color right here, this orangey, burnt orangey brown color right here is very close to the shade Cayenne, and there is another shade from this palette, and this color right here from the NYX Perfect Filter palette. I found the Infuego very close to the Infuego, and she is mixing these two shades to pop in the crease. So I'm just gonna do that as well, mixing these two shades and popping in the crease. She has gone really heavy-handed with the shade, you know, Cayenne and Infuego, so I'm just gonna do that.
And then afterwards build that up a little bit more using the shade Infuego. I did add a little tiny bit of the shade Ashes just to make the crease look a little bit deeper, and that's where you've got that really kind of deep purple.
And she has mixed the shade Ashes in the crease as well. And the closest color from the shade Ashes from the Naked It palette I found in this palette right here. This is the Tartlet in Bloom palette from Tarte Cosmetics. And I'm gonna mix these two shades to make appearance of the shade Ashes in the crease.
Now moving on to the fun part, which is the shimmery glittery shade, which I had on my eyelids. And this is basically one of my favorite eyeshadow shades like ever.
And this is where I struggle the most to find the perfect lid color and as close to her lid color. And to be very honest, I did not really find as much of a closest dupe as she has used in the video. She has used the ColourPop eyeshadow in the shade Millionaire, as well as she added little bit of the Stella liquid glitter for eyes. So I'm just gonna go in with the shade right here. This is from the Makeup Revolution Redemption palette in Iconic 1, and I'm just gonna mix this two color in the middle shade right here. Although I know this will not be as similar or as close to her eye color, but I am really sorry I could not find any glittery shade. But I planned on adding this glitter on top of the eye look, which is from Wet n Wild, and I'm just gonna try and make the eye look work. So first I'm gonna take these two shades from the Makeup Revolution palette. I actually changed the color from the middle two shades to these three shades because her is towards more cool toned color. And once this one is done, I will be taking Funny Girl from the Tartlet in Bloom palette, and I'm just gonna place this just right on top just to get similar sort of effect. Yeah, this is looking much better.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that the actual crease is nice and blended still. So I'm just taking the same brush that I used on the crease shades. This is the 228 Zoeva brush.
And she has a lot of redness and richness and warmness going on in her eyes. So I'm quickly going to add a little bit more of the, this color from the Perfect Filter palette just to make it as warm as her eyes. And since we both have very different eye shapes, because I have a lot of hooded eyes and she does not have as much of hooded eye, in fact she does not have any hooded eye, so that's why I actually have to go in a lot above that my actual crease. So yeah, for the lower lash line she is taking the shade Infuego and working that in her lower lash line, and I'm just going to do that as well. So I'm taking the color from the Perfect Filter palette. I'm just working that in the lower lash line. And now she is adding on more glitter onto her eyes, and that means it is time for this eyeshadow right here. This is the Wet n Wild single eyeshadow. This is in the shade Brass, and this is how it looks like. And a lot of the people mistake this eyeshadow for the glitter eyeshadows. These are not glitter eyeshadows. These are more of a top coat for your eyeshadow. So just keep that in mind. This is not your glitter eyeshadow. These are like top coat for your glitter eyeshadow to make it even more pop. And I'm just gonna pop this on over my lid and just hope for the best. I know this could be totally wrong idea, but I'm really hoping that it works out.
And then one more time with the crease brush, I'm just making sure everything's nice and blended. I do have a little bit of glitter on underneath my eyes, but it just flicks straight off.
Fortunately, I do not have any fallout under my eyes. So I'm going to move on to the next step that she is going to do.
Very quickly tightlining my upper waterline with the black Infallible Gel Liner from L'Oreal, and then taking the brown one to very slightly line my lower waterline. So I'm just going to add a very quick layer of the L'Oreal Paradise Lash, which I am loving recently, and then I'm going to go on top with some Miami lashes from Lily Lashes.
As she did, I also applied some falsies off camera because the falsies part was the hardest to put on, and I generally do not wear falsies, but I did today just because Kaushal did as well. So yeah, and let's just see what she's doing next.
Now that the eyes are all done, I'm going to move on to lips, and surprisingly I only used one lip shade, which is very, very unusual for me, and that is this.
And she's applying the shade Pillow Talk, and Pillow Talk is of a really nudie pink sort of color. So I picked up two of the shades right here, which could be very closest to Pillow Talk. I'm not sure exact dupe of Pillow Talk because I have not even looked into online for the Pillow Talk. I have this one right here. This is from the Maybelline Creamy Matte Lipstick in the shade Touch of Spice, and this one is here the Lakme 9 to 5, the older range, in the shade Red Chaos. I think Pillow Talk is even lighter than this nude, but according to my face or according to my skin tone, I believe I can go with any of this color. So I think I'm gonna go with the shade Red Chaos for my lips. I feel like the shade Red Chaos is little towards peachy. So just to add that pinkiness, I'll be adding little more of the Creamy Matte in Touch of Spice as well, so that it can become a little more matte as well.
One thing that I do like to do is I like to line my lips after I put lipstick on.
So I am using the lip liner from Wet n Wild, and it's their Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Chestnut. And now she is using a powder foundation on the face just to give the extra coverage. So I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix powder foundation, and I'm in the shade NC41. And I'm just gonna use however she is using.
So I am almost done, but the one last thing that I did before I applied any kind of setting spray is I used my Bare Pro foundation powder, which is from Bare Minerals. I get this on like a packing kind of brush, and I just kind of press this into my skin, and this locks everything in place and also gives you a little bit extra coverage in the areas where you might want it.
And the last step she is doing is setting her face. And to set the face, I have two of the options. One is from e.l.f. and it's their Makeup Mist and Set. I have used this before, and I know that this definitely extends the wear of your makeup. And the next option that I have here is from the Kama Ayurveda Pure Rose Water. And in the video, she is using the all-nighter setting spray, which is meant to extend your makeup wear. So I cannot really say whether the Kama Rose Water will extend your makeup timing or not, but I definitely know this does. But this is not really easily available in India, so I'm gonna go in with the Kama Ayurveda Rose Water, which is very easily available in India. So I'm just gonna mist my face using the Kama Ayurveda Rose Water. And yeah, this is the completed look. I absolutely enjoyed recreating this makeup look from Kaushal, and I learned so many things, and I never go this bold on the eyes, and I did it for Kaushal, and I absolutely love this. I definitely love this eye look and how it has turned out. Although I will not say this is as close to her eye look, but I definitely think that I did a pretty good job. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this look, whether I nailed it or no. And I really thank Kaushal to make this video and make me do this video. So thank you very much, Kaushal, and thank you all for watching this video. And also about the eyelashes, I did put on eyelashes off camera, and the eyelashes is from Pack Cosmetics, and this is in their pack in 15.9. These eyelashes are not as dramatic and as fluttery as Kaushal's, but this is one of the most dramatic eyelashes that I own because I generally do not wear eyelashes. If you guys follow me, you will know. And yeah, that is all I guess. And as usual, if you guys have enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already yet. And I will see you all in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye guys.